In this tutorial we're going to look at creating owners. An owner is a person or a company or a group of people who owns the properties that we manage. So if we're a property management company, we might have multiple owners. If we're a landlord, then we might only have one, and that would be ourselves. An exception could be that if you're a landlord but you have multiple entities, like maybe a company or a trust, you might want to create them as separate owners. So just before I start, I'm going to show you one more thing. If we go to Functions and Options, you can set a tax rate for disbursements for your management fees. So I've got mine set to 15%. So that's a GST or a VAT type tax that you want to charge on top of your management fees. So mine's set to 15%. When I go to Owners and I create my new owner, the only thing we actually need to set is the short code at the top. Everything else is optional. So I'm creating my second owner, so owner 2. Below this I can enter in the address. And if I enter in a proper address, I can use this button here to view the map to find out where that address is. If we no longer manage the properties for our owner, we can tick this checkbox here to say this owner is now closed. On the Contacts tab we can enter the name and email address and phone numbers of a particular owner. On the Disbursements tab, now this is where we enter the management fee percentage that we're going to be charging our owners. So we might say that we want to charge our owners 10%. Now this is inclusive of tax. You can see it's automatically calculated the tax and the exclusive value. Alternatively, we can enter the exclusive value and it will back calculate these values. Another option is to enter a management fee as a value rather than a percentage. So we might charge maybe $200 per month including taxes. And we can actually have both of those filled in if we want to charge both a percentage and a fee. And down here we can set a reserve amount. A reserve amount is an amount of money that we want to retain in our bank account for this owner in case we have any upcoming repairs that need to be taken care of and we might not yet have received enough rent to cover those costs. So we might say that we want to retain an additional $500. Later, when we want to give that reserve amount back again, maybe the expenses have all been paid for, or maybe this owner is closing their account, we can set that back to 0, and when we do our disbursement, any reserve amount that we already have will be given back to that owner. And we also have an option down here to say the owner is transaction tax exempt. You'll notice that some tabs are greyed out. They'll be greyed out until we actually save the owner. So if I save the owner and I reopen it again, now those additional tabs are enabled. You'll notice that the Contacts tab changes when we open it again. We can now add multiple owners. So there's the first multiple contacts. So there's the first contact, and if I press the Add button, I can add as many additional contacts as I like. The Notes tab is where we can enter a note, which is just a text amount, a text value. A note can also be a reminder. If we want a note to be reminded to us at some point in the future, we can set a date. We can also attach files to owners, so this could be a photo, or it could be a document or a PDF file, maybe an agreement of some sort. On the Letters tab, this is where mail merge letters. If we do a mail merge to this owner, any letters that are generated automatically appear in this list. The Extras Fee tab is where if we want to charge the owner an additional fee on top of our regular management fee, we can add them in here. For example, we might charge an additional fee for a property inspection. We might charge an amount of $50. And that'll get added in here. And that'll be automatically subtracted next time we do our next disbursement. The Properties tab will automatically be populated when we add properties linked to this owner. On the Custom Fields tab is where we can add additional information for additional fields that we haven't provided. For example, we might want to add an additional field maybe for a tax code of some sort. Now if I go back to that owner and to the custom fields, I can see I can now enter a tax code for this owner. And the information tab is another tab that's automatically pre-populated with information based on the rent that we have received and an anticipated disbursement amount. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of information that we can set up about our owners. There'll be separate tutorials which will go into more information on disbursements and fees.